Finally, Mick Foley. He was on Ariel Helwani's show and talked about the move to AEW, why he cut ties with WWE, about his political beliefs. He's being very careful. He does not want to bash WWE or knock them, but his argument was that by him staying there, he was being complicit by being silent when he has these political views and they're counter to the company. And his point was, apparently, like, someone high up in the company called him when he announced he wanted out of his Legends deal, and we're trying to explain that, you know, Paul Levesque is just on the President's Fitness Council, and Linda McMahon hasn't been with the company for over 15 years. And Foley's counter was, her last name is McMahon. Everyone associates it with WWE. Paul Levesque seems awfully close to Donald Trump. And he pointed out in this photo, which I imagine was when the McMahons were there, that I'm looking at 5 people in this photo at the Oval Office that have taken the Stone Cold Stunner. And I think that's a little too close for my comfort level. Now, you know, he's been associated with the company for a long time, but this was the breaking point. And he said the final straw for him was the Rob Reiner comments that Donald Trump made after Rob Reiner was murdered. So anyway, he was also asked about the prospect of wrestling in AEW.
I think that clearly if I had a match, it would have to be a match that would avoid trauma to the head. Mm-hmm. Luckily, there's a whole lot of me to traumatize below the neck. So I think I have one more last good match in me.
Wow.
I just believe it would have to be, all the stars would have to align. All the stars would have to align. It would have to make sense. But I find my mind wandering sometimes, coming up with ideas that look better than they hurt, that rate higher on the instantaneous Foley risk-reward ratio analysis. And if I can come up with enough of those type of moves that allow me to risk a little bit less while still giving fans a good match, and if I feel like I'm up to it, then maybe a couple of years down the road, we will look into that. Stranger things have happened.
Sorry, I couldn't hold back. When he says a couple years down the road, meaning when he's how old?
He will be 61 in a few weeks.
Yeah. You know, like he's talking about this as if he's got time to really let this simmer before making a decision at the age of 59. And I mean,
60. He's going on 61.
Oh, he's going on 60, of course. Yeah. So, you know what? Take your time, Mick. You know, really, like, you know, let your body maybe get into the best shape it's ever been to.
He's the Babe Ruth home run record, and he's going on to the Roger Maris age.
So, listen, I don't think what he says might be completely off base. Okay, like the art of professional wrestling is making things look like they hurt more than they actually do, and he's talking about maybe using his incredible creativity to come up with enough spots that will make you think that he's going through something when he's actually not. And there's a part of me that's really curious to see what he can actually come up with, so that I would love to see that match. But I think even more important than maybe like whether or not he could actually do it is the appetite of the audience to see it. And judging by at least like many of the quote tweets we received on this particular story, a lot of the replies on this particular story, I think there's more of an audience that does not want to see Mick Foley anywhere near this ring, especially considering some of the stories that are out there of him, you know, and just even going through incredible physical difficulty through training. So I think there are most of the audience might be just happy enough with Mick Foley no longer wrestling anymore, as much as I might be curious to see what that might look like.
Yeah, it's very strange because Ronda Rousey, there was all this concern. She was very open in her book about all of her concussions. And then in the lead up to this fight was stating that, you know, she was diagnosed with something that it turned out it was not concussions. It was like migraines she was getting. And it's like, okay, I mean, it's your head and it's your, you know, doctor that is giving you this information. I just think with Mick Foley, number one, you bring up, it was 2 years ago. He was training for a comeback and he was getting dizzy spells just from training. And that's not him taking like shots to the head. That's him just training and may have suffered a concussion. I remember when he did that last big match in TNA with Ric Flair, and this was 16 years ago. And again, he was not taking trauma to the head, but he brought up the fact that his body, like he was taking bumps and getting concussions. Like, his body was getting rattled. And guys, that was 16 years ago. Like, this was him in his mid 40s. And I just look at it that, like, there's so many things you can do with a Mick Foley that wrestling is not in the list for me at all. This guy was excellent in that segment with MJF. He seems really invigorated to be in this company. He can be effective in a lot of different roles. It's that I think every wrestler is going to believe they have one more great match in them. And this, to me, is the only downside of, like, the Sting run, is that it's going to put these ideas in many performers' heads of getting that same kind of great send-off and being able to defy age. And Sting defied many things, from spinal stenosis to age, and ended up having this unbelievable run in AEW.
Yeah. Can he have a Sting type of match where you're teaming with somebody like a Darby Allin who will take a majority of the high risk bumps for you? But all that said, I mean, this is Mick Foley we're talking about, and Mick Foley's idea of a good match, I think, will contain a lot more than just even what we are expecting from a Sting type of match, of Sting, going through a table. Like, a Mick Foley match, for that to be considered quote unquote good, I think we'll have to have a lot more than that.
Well, he's got a few years to think about it.
Yeah.
So maybe 65, he will contemplate this. I'm not rooting for this, definitely not. But I think he can be a really positive contribution to AEW, and it doesn't have to be leading to a match. I don't think it's necessary, and it's one where, I mean, it's ultimately like, if he gets clearance, he gets clearance, and that's going to be what it comes down to.
His greatest value to AEW is his mind and his ability to promo still, as we were able to see, against MJF.
Even like commentary. Like, remember that running out on SmackDown? Like, there's a lot of different ways you can utilize this guy. He's got a lot of value to this company, that it's not one where it's like, man, you can't wrestle. What is going to be your value to us? There's plenty of that with Mick Foley. And I think he got generally pretty unanimous praise for the appearance at Double or Nothing. PostWrestlingCafe.com is your destination throughout the entire month of June. It begins with Open House Week, where all members on the free tier get a full week slate of extra content. Following that, we have Brandon Thurston live in Delaware to cover the WWE merger lawsuit, and we will be doing wall-to-wall coverage with daily audio shows. Plus, we have Rewind Away looking back at the career of Manami Toyota, a review of WrestleMania 33. Karen and Bruce will cover New Japan's Best of the Super Juniors final along with Dominion, and we will get together for a new Ask Away mailbag show. PostWrestlingCafe.com, the destination for you.